Hello and welcome to the Revolve Commercial Show. In this show, we take a deep dive into commercial property, conversations with experts in the field, education in commercial real estate, and I share examples of case studies of how to master good commercial acquisitions. My name is Mish and I'm the founder of Revolve Commercial, where wealth revolves around you. We've worked with thousands of commercial property owners and have been best known for helping our clients to build wealth, earn great cash flow on autopilot through commercial real estate. If you're interested in speaking with our team to see how we can help you to get your wealth to revolve around you, go to revolvecommercial.com.au.
So your due diligence, you've kind of just done that probably in your own mind. You looked at it going, hang on, this doesn't look right. And that's a trained eye. It's a bit like when we do it buyer's agents and they're like, that property's not going to stack up. You're looking at that deal, that's not going to stack up. Take us through that due diligence checklist that you've just done in your head to say yay or nay. What are you looking at? So you mentioned like the rental, are the leases secured?
We look at hundreds of properties and you're 100% right. It really is a matter of training your eye. So the first thing you do is have a look at the asset itself. So if you go onto, let's say, a real commercial, for instance, and you find something you like, you're looking at the pictures. Do you think the asset looks like something that you'd resonate with? You like it? Okay, you need to kind of like the property. Next thing I look at is I have a look at the yield. So I'm going to go and I'm going to look for the net rental immediately, and I'm going to have a look at what is the asking price, and I'll know more or less what the cap rate is, so the capitalization rate in that area. Let's say if it's Bundaberg, for instance, I know that Bundaberg should be around about 7% depending on the type of asset. Now, if we're looking at an industrial asset, we're looking at around about that 7%. If it's retail, maybe about 7.5. If it's office, I'm going to push that quite a lot higher. So I know what I'm looking for straight away.
Yeah. I'm
going to run those numbers immediately, and also know that in that area, depending on the type of asset, that maybe you should be paying maximum 150 per square meter, depending on the type of asset. I'm going to work that out, and immediately I can tell you it's an inflated rental or it's market rental.
Right.
And based on that, I'll tell you whether it's the right price. Okay. Couple of other factors to look into is it a lease back? Because the minute you see a lease back, you got to think, well, if somebody's leasing back, what are they doing? They're wanting to draw the equity out of their property to maybe fund a lifestyle, a business, whatever it is. So they're going to want to get as much equity out of that property as possible, which means that the chances are they're going to inflate their rental. High rental, high price. So you got to look at all of that, do a quick market research, see if it's market related, and whammo, keep moving. If not, go back to the agent, negotiate with the agent, say, look, mate, they're charging themselves $50 over rate. Are they willing to come down? And then negotiate from there. So I guess it's the trained eye. The little nuances.
Beautiful. And I guess, some people like in this example, and we get this sometimes on the resi side, whereas I've bought the property, now I'm looking for a bit of confirmation bias that I've bought the right property, for example, and now you're going to kind of retrospect or retrofit a strategy around it. So an engagement and a great engagement for you, what does that look like where you can kind of take a client, maybe give you a scenario, they've got maybe a couple of residential properties, so now they're looking to maybe diversify their portfolio, which means they've got good equity, generally got good borrowing capacity because they've been able to scale up for a few properties as well. And now they're talking about, hey, look, how do I buy my first commercial property? What journey are you taking them on, and what kind of questions are you asking to filter out what type of asset class they should be investing in, Mish?
Fabulous question. Absolutely amazing question. What I do firstly is I want to know what type of experience they've got and what work they work in. So what are they familiar with? Okay. If they have, let's say they're new to investing and they've got 2 or 3 residential properties, we want to know where they are and whether they are positive. Okay. If they're positive, I'll say happy days. Then you're good to go straight away. Let's say for argument's sake, it's a doctor. We have a lot of doctors that come through they're looking to go into a commercial property. I would have a sit-down meeting with them where we're looking at and I'd be asking them, what are they comfortable with? Now, everybody says industrial because industrial is the flavor of the year right now.
Correct.
However, a lot of people don't understand industrial, and if they understand the numbers, and if they're coming from a numbers background, engineering or something like that, I'll say, great, happy days all day. A doctor type person is not 100% au fait with industrial. So I know straight away I'm going to be doing quite a lot of explaining and teaching. They're more comfortable in something that they're familiar with. So they might want to go into something that is allied medical. They would relate to that. So we would set that as their first acquisition, or we have it scaled in A, B, and C. So their A property would be maybe an allied medical. Their B property might be something that's light industrial. And then the C property would be something other than that, retail. 9 times out of 10, you find if you're putting the wrong person into the wrong property, not that they're going into the wrong property, it's a matter of understanding how it actually works, you know.
Well said.
Yeah. So we take them through the journey. If they've got negative property in their residential portfolio, first question is I ask them, what do they intend doing with it? You know, are they going to keep those properties? Are they waiting until there's market lift? You know, where do they want to go? Because I know straight away that is going to affect their lending.
Yeah, nice one.
So when clients come on board with us, there are 2 fundamentals that I do is I would introduce them to specialists. One would be in funding and the other one would be in asset protection. Make sure that their structures are 100%.
That's the next question I pretty much had for you, which is quite often it gets to this point, then their eyes glaze over and you go, well, how are we purchasing this property? Like we go through a self-managed super fund? Are we going to do it through a commercial, through a trust? And I don't know, I thought I was just going to buy a commercial property. And unit trust. And so that, I won't say it's a right thing to do it. So it's getting your house in order and the right way to do it. But often it adds just that layer of complexity, which is then adding more people to your team. So you've suddenly got someone like yourself, a buyer's agent. You've then got quite often a finance person, broker, or a commercial banker, for example. And then you've got financial planner and or an accountant as well. So the team then starts to grow, and you may throw in the property manager at the tail end, which is then managing your asset.
So as we go through the journey, we introduce them to land surveyors, to quantity surveyors, so these are all pieces of the puzzle that, and as you say, the team members, you've mentioned all the legal and financials, but and again, in commercial, the fundamentals are to have a look at the building itself as well as the leases, so the legals, the financials, everything else that goes with it. So it's a whole journey all the way right through to the end. And then, of course, the management. What people don't know is that in commercial, the management is actually one of the most important of acquisition. No. That is where you're going to make or lose, whether you're adding value or whether you're losing value.
Spot on. The right tenant will make or break. Like, last thing you want is turnover. Now, some businesses are naturally going to outgrow. I think that's a great success story where you got businesses that outgrow and they need bigger premises, for example. That's a sign that business is successful. Whereas others that kind of flounder a little bit, and then you got that turnover, and that's real estate that then has a reputation for a bit of turnover, not because the property's bad, but maybe the wrong business went in there and now it gets a little bit of a black mark next to its name from a property perspective, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you might have a business in there who's, maybe they've got a successor and they bring somebody else in, a manager, and the manager's not running the business very well. And you start recognizing that things are really not going the way that they should be. Business is dropping. What happens the minute business is dropping? The first thing they think of is, maybe we can get a rent reduction or a smaller space or something like that. It's really very important to maintain those relationships with tenants. Yeah. To find out what's going on, keep them bubbling, keep them going, finding out where they want to go and what they want to do.
Yeah, perfect. I often say, and people that listen hear me say this regularly, is success leaves clues. So someone like yourself, where you've probably, and I don't need to know the details, but you've been around for some time, which means that equals some type of success that you've achieved in your own portfolio.
Thank you for joining us on the Revolve Commercial Property Podcast. Don't forget to join our private Facebook group, Cashflow on Autopilot with Revolve Commercial, where we share weekly updates on positive cash flow commercial properties currently on the market and how to acquire them. So go to Cashflow on Autopilot with Revolve Commercial or www.revolvecommercial.com.au.